What can you do if you wake up rested? Improve your overall health and performance with deep, restful sleep and app-controlled cooling technology by Chili Sleep. Enjoy uninterrupted and high-quality deep sleep that caters to your body's natural rest pattern. Chili Sleep helps you rest soundly beside your partner with temperature settings adjusted specifically for your side of the bed. Visit chilisleep.com/try. That's CHILISLEEP.com/TRY.
Lacuna Health is a call center that goes beyond answering calls. Our highly trained staff handles the clinical needs of patients and extends the care of your practice 24/7. Our experienced RNs offer HIPAA-compliant nurse triage that helps to reduce unnecessary emergency room visits and monitor patient health using your standards and protocols. We answer calls within 30 seconds, and patients have nursing care within 30 minutes. Click Contact Us at lacunahealth.com to see how we can help.
It's holiday season and you don't know what to get as a gift or stocking stuffer? Well, today's sponsor, Manscaped, has the tools to guarantee you win this year's stocking stuffer or white elephant competition. Manscaped is the leader in men's below-the-waist grooming, and they have served more than 4 million men worldwide. If my math is correct, that's almost 8 million balls. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com with the code TAGS, TAGS. What is going on? You are listening to TAGSPodcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the podcast. I'm your host, Steve V, and this is episode 319 alongside Jeremy Ross Lopez. Happy Cyber Monday, Jeremy.
Likewise.
Yep, I know you're busy. Thank you for hopping on. Also joining us today is Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell are you? You got a phone going now?
Hello, darling. Not quite yet, girl. Trying to get them Cyber Monday deals in, but it wasn't working out for me. So
slow moving, right? Yeah, I hear you.
Almost. I will let you know. You'll be the first person I call.
Okay, good. Ghostbusters. Nice. All right. Well, on this, I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. Jeremy, did you have a good Thanksgiving? It looked like you did.
Yeah, it was good. It was busy, and it was a lot of fun.
Nice. And Kodi, I trust you did as well.
I did. I got to meet my boyfriend's family, his aunts and uncles, and they were lovely, and he met my mother for the very first time.
Meet the mom. Wow.
The mom.
Did she like him? Did he like her?
She loves him. Yeah.
Aww. That's so.
Yeah, his grandma gave my mom some cookies, and she loves the cookie. And she got invited for Christmas at Joe's family's house, and it's just going to be a big deal. God. I can already tell.
Wow, I love that. That is so great.
I know. Yeah.
Well,
it's going to be good.
In a minute, I want to ask you guys a little bit more about the holidays. But first, I just want to shout out to Wakefield Poole. It was a documentarian, a filmmaker, really, and he died today at 85. He's known, you guys might know him for a famous film, Boys in the Sand. And Jeremy, you might recall when I did my XXXmas parties back in the day, I would play a couple of like 70s films, if you recall. Yes, I do
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, one was Boys in the Sand, which everybody should watch. It's set in Fire Island, and it's really like guys frolicking around the island naked, and it's not porn, but it kind of is in many ways. And interesting tidbit about this film, Boys in the Sand, which was his major film, Wakefield Poole's major film, it played at a New York movie theater house and was reviewed by the New York Times when it originally debuted, treating it like not like a porn film, but gave it its kudos. And straights and gays went all alike, and it was really groundbreaking at the time. And he used a couple different types of film to make it. So the first part, it was a little more low budget. And when he got some more money together, you get to see it in better quality. And then the film that I loved that I played at my XXX was Bijou. which has a famous
Oh.
porn star in it, Bill Harrison, who has like the hugest dick ever. And
Oh.
I really highly recommend these films because they're really, you can find them pretty much streaming anywhere. They're great to play like in the background because they don't have a lot of dialogue at all. It's more visual.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, I'll give you this, Wakefield Pool. There's a great documentary that everybody should watch. It's called I Always Said Yes, The Many Lives of Wakefield Pool. And it's one of my favorite documentaries because he really did say yes. He had so many incarnations of work,
Mm-hmm.
notwithstanding his work as a filmmaker, but he just did so many different things and lived everywhere. And it's really enlightening. I love that movie. I Always Said Yes, The Many Lives of Wakefield Pool. So in honor
Words to
of
live by. I love that.
words to live by, yes, exactly. When you can say yes or no, choose yes.
Choose
So
yes when it's
choose
not an automatic
yes.
no.
Absolutely right. Exactly. Exactly. Well, all right. Well, we were just talking about the holidays a minute ago. We just celebrated Thanksgiving, and I know it just kind of seems like we're on the avalanche of holiday land. And I don't know about you guys, but this particular year, I I don't mind that the Christmas decorations are up today. I don't mind that
Uh-huh.
currently at my mom's house in California, and streets are lined with Christmas lights and the decorations are up. I don't mind that it's today and it's still November 29th as we record this, because I feel last year we didn't have a holiday really in my
You
mind.
got
And
cheated out
so
of it, yeah.
we got cheated out of it. So as the holidays are here, I guess it's an obvious question, but Jeremy, will they be totally different from last year? And you also have your birthday also falls this week, and you had a big birthday last year. What's it going to look like this year?
So I think all of us are making up for lost time. So I feel like even this Thanksgiving, there was like 24 of us together, where last
Friendsgiving,
year
right?
we ended up doing like just 10 of us together. So, I mean, I think every event this season, we're definitely like doubling and tripling up on who we invite. And I don't know, just making up for just in celebration of uh, missing out last year. And also, uh, we ended up my like coming in contact with someone that had COVID. So we
Oh,
spent
right.
Christmas Eve and Christmas Day just like my mom and I, and that was it. Like all of us
Wow.
separate because of that, and just not wanting to put anyone at risk. So that part definitely sucked last year. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to like getting tested ahead of time. And we just all got tested for Thanksgiving beforehand, a week before, just to make sure.
Yeah, right.
Even though we're all vaccinated, just because it does seem like even in my area that it's going around again. So we just want to be prepared and keep everyone safe, but also enjoy the holidays.
Absolutely right. I know I just got tested to come because when you leave somewhere like a different country, in my case Puerto Vallarta, we had to get tested, and even though I was with some boys, but I was fortunately. And then you're thinking the whole time, you're thinking, oh my God,
What if? Yeah.
what if I the last day on the condo on the Airbnb was today, and so I better be negative because my
Yeah.
funds are low. I cannot stay here any longer. So thank God, I budgeted it out for this amount of time, and I need it to be. Unfortunately, it was negative, and then it's so funny. You get to the airport and they glance at it. I'm like, no, look, really, I'm negative. Like, really, look. Do a
It's a
deep
badge
dive.
of honor at that point.
It is. And the woman was like, oh, got it. Moved on to the next thing. I'm like, did you really look at this though? I mean, so yeah. But Kodi, this year has got to, for many reasons, obviously with your boyfriend, Joe, who you said before his name.
Yes.
So I know it's nothing
Yes.
new, but this has got to feel great this time around.
It's a first. It's many firsts because we did not spend Christmas together last year. Our first date was New Year's Day, so it'll be a lot of firsts for us this year. So I'm really looking forward to meeting his family again, having his mom meet his family meet my mother and just having a good time and enjoying as many people as possible. I think I'm going to take Jeremy's advice and his lead and get tested before we even meet up with anybody. I think that's a good route to go because it keeps everybody safe because COVID cases are on the rise right now. So
I'm going to definitely take your advice, everyone's advice, and before I make a return back to Northern California, you just said something, Cody, meet as many people as possible. I may be doing that and keeping it sexy when I go back to New York and meeting as many people as possible. But
oh, and
yeah,
that's
I'm
a different
single.
different context in the way I said it.
Yeah, I know it was, but I decided to jump on that, and
Love
yeah,
it.
but I will get tested before I make the trip back over here to be with family and friends and keep it safe. But it does bring up a question because can the holidays be sexy? It's sort of a question. And Jeremy, when I used to do my party XXXmas, which you were a co-host too, it was it kept it sexy, right? Like we had family time, friend time, but that party thrown in the middle of it all really kind of was a fun, sexy time. And do you think the holidays can also be sexy too?
I do, yeah. I think they can be whatever you want them to be. I think it really matters the company that you have, and then also just the either activities that you do or the music that you listen to. And I remember we celebrated with like great cocktails, very minimal food, very minimal clothing, and
Right.
just like a sexy crowd in general, which is always helpful for a sexy time. But you
Yeah.
can also do the opposite and be like cuddly and watch movies and have like a pajama party and have it still be sexy as well.
Yeah, I definitely subscribe to the both of them because to me the holidays are warm and fuzzy, and I'm going to get a lot of that in there. Like I'm going to put my tree up when I get home next weekend and do all that
Nice.
great. Yeah, really get into it this year. But on the other hand, I want to use my time wisely and have some fun, sexy times too. So I think it's kind of cool to kind of go in and out. I don't know, Cody, what's your thoughts? Because you're now with the boyfriend, and I'm sure you're going to keep it sexy as well.
I know I got to get him a Mrs. Claus outfit or something like that. I don't know how I'm gonna do it.
I wonder how he'd feel about that.
I don't the gray wig and all and the glasses.
You're right, and the stockings and all.
He might tell me to put it on. I think that's what will probably end up happening is I'll end up with the Mrs. Claus outfit on. Or sexy elf. Ooh, I think that if anybody knows how to keep it sexy, it's us. And I think that like Jeremy said, as long as we're versatile and you know, we diversify our holidays between cuddly and sexy, we're doing the right thing.
Interesting versatility. Yeah, we're going to be talking about total tops and total bottoms in a little while here, but
Oh.
you're choosing the versatility angle. I like that. All right. Well, while I was away in Puerto Vallarta enjoying my time, I may have mentioned that I met a guy there that lives in LA. So he has been keeping in contact with me. He did tell me while we were there that he is seeing somebody, but they're open and they kind of have an open thing, and the guy does porn of all things, the guy he's seeing. But
Oh. Oh.
he's been messaging me and keeping the fire alive, and I guess I think he's hot too. I will be back on the West Coast and be able to see him. What's your guys' advice for someone like myself? Should I be texting him weekly to keep that fire going, at least until we meet up again to see if it's something that I want to continue to pursue? What's your thoughts, Jeremy, on that?
I say text him when you're thinking about him, to be honest. I don't like to uh think too deep into it and like make it become like that arduous game of like the back and forth and waiting 4 hours and
Mm-hmm.
waiting
Yeah.
24 hours to text back. I think when you're thinking about him or you feel like texting him, reach out to him.
God, so logical. I love
Yep.
that. That makes so, I mean, it's almost like, oh, I didn't think of that. Like when you know what? Because he's been really proactive. We were
Hmm.
at a concert here in Oakland and with my family, and he happened to text me, and I'm like, oh, and I messaged him back. For now, it's been him being really proactive, and then me really, when I have the moment, replying back and enjoying that reply back, Kodi. But do you agree with
Hmm.
Jeremy, or should I maybe show a little bit of initiative too, so he knows that I'm interested? Because I kind of feel that too.
I think you should. I think what Jeremy was saying was you should show initiative as well. I think that if you want to establish a connection with this guy, then you should be texting him when you think about him. Because if you're thinking about, oh, is it too soon, or maybe I should be a little bit aloof, then that's the opposite of wanting of a connection. So
Right.
if you really want to establish a connection with him, text him when you think about him. Jeremy's 100% right.
I like that, and I have been thinking of him periodically, so I think I will just to because it'll be honest, if nothing else,
Yeah.
and I will if I. I also think it makes sense too because we're just about a month away when I will be where he lives in Los Angeles, and I can.
Ooh.
It will be easy for me to message him up and at least until I see him again, and then we'll rework and see what goes on after that meeting. But at least, yeah, absolutely. I think I will. Thanks for that
What about the
advice.
sexy pics? Are you sending sexy pics and stuff like
I
that?
have not that. Can we just work on the text
No?
first?
Okay, all right, I'm jumping the gun. I always do.
We took the good news about this whole thing is his roommate and he took some pictures of the three of us. So I'm in his photo album already, so he won't forget what I look like, and he's
Aw.
in mine. And so, I think we're in each other's phones currently. So
Okay.
yeah, so we'll see. But
Keep us posted.
speaking of sexy pics and video, there is a new TikTok trend, and I'm just wondering if you guys like it, or if you're here for it or not. It's the TikTok trend of removing your underwear with shorts on, and it's got this thing where you remove the undies, the jockstrap, while keeping the shorts on. The challenge lies in the type of underwear, the length of the shorts, and the size of the meat. Some of these that I have, I will post this on TAGSPodcast.com tomorrow when this comes out, is a guy holding his shorts, thankfully, but he tripped on his shorts. And so as he tripped, his dick flew out of the shorts, which I'm not sure that's part of the challenge. I don't think that would be allowed on TikTok. I am here for the mistakes, though. I don't know. My opinion is I think it's really sexy. I'm not going to try it. I recently told you guys that I was watching pole dancing in Puerto Vallarta, and I'm going to take a class when I get back to New York with a friend.
Ooh.
But but that's going to be slow, long class, level beginner A. And I think when you do these TikTok challenges, the malfunction is way too easy to happen. I don't know, but Kodi, are you here for the underwear removal challenge on TikTok?
I saw a couple of the videos and I can say that they are pretty hot. I thoroughly approve and I need for more and more people to do them so I can enjoy the sight. Thank you so much for those who have done them.
Jeremy, do you have the coordination to do the underwear removal challenge?
Hell fucking no. I don't think it's not the coordination, it's like I guess the balance of being able to stand up and bend over while pulling them out from under. I
Ooh,
think
hearing you say all that, I loved hearing that
that
direction.
is not something that I think I can do, but I think it's a sexy trend and I'm here for it. I love it. I love it with a jockstrap and with briefs, and I think it's even more sexy when something falls out or you just get a little like leakage.
Oh, I like that. It kind of
Oh,
reminds me. I don't know if you guys are young enough to remember David Letterman and Stupid Pet Tricks. Do you remember that, Kodi? Stupid
I
Pet Tricks, where he would invite
no.
pets or animals on the show, and they would do, you know, chase their tail around or jump over, just stupid pet tricks. And so it kind of, which I was always hear, they were like laughable, fun little things you could watch. And
Mhm.
hey, stupid jocks or jocks in general trying to take off their underwear. And if something falls out, I am here for it. Absolutely. I am not going to try it though, because mine's going
I'm
to
gonna
look really.
try.
Are you going to try it?
I'm gonna
What type?
try. You know what? I'm not gonna record the first couple ones, but I am gonna try, and I'm definitely going to let you guys know how it goes. I'll report back to you before I post anything or make any videos, though, because it's something I don't know. I think it's cute.
You know who I think would be really cute doing this too is your boyfriend Joe. I don't know why. I just
No.
oh, here we go. I think he would be a lot of fun to watch doing that. But look at that immediate absolute no.
Immediate. I was like, no, and we're not telling him about this.
Got it.
No,
Drop
he
the
can do it. He can do it. I already said I'm a jealous guy, but you know what?
we
I'm getting better. I am getting better.
Okay. All right. Well, either one of you, let us know, and hopefully you'll post something on that. You could post it on our TikTok. By the way, you can follow us on TikTok at TAGSPodcast. Well,
Beautiful.
moving on, strip clubs, male strip clubs seem to be on the rise. When I was in Puerto Vallarta, since I was there since May of this year, 2 new ones opened up, and there's already
Oh.
3 or 4 other ones. You guys know the types of clubs where you go and it's strictly men, and there's more typically there's more men in the bar that are strippers than there are clientele, which should say something.
Yeah.
I just noticed that trend, and it got me thinking a little bit on, are they on the rise and are we still here for them? Sadly, though, long-standing strip club Swinging Richards in Atlanta, which has been around for 3 decades, is set to close in January of 2022, January 15th. So if you want to go to the
No.
infamous Swinging Richards, I've only been to the one in Fort Lauderdale, not this one, or in Florida. No word on why they're closing. But it got me thinking, are strip clubs still relevant? Because, a lot of people after the year strippers weren't dancing in that, obviously in the 2020 year, and they recently opened up. People are watching their piggy banks a little bit.
Yeah.
And as the ones in Puerto Vallarta, I mean, a quick story, I went into a new one. There was like 25 dancers to 2 of us clientele.
What?
Granted, it was a Tuesday night, but in Puerto Vallarta, where the other bars were hopping,
And jam
and
packed.
I get up there. You have to walk upstairs, so it's not like you could peek in. So I go in, and I felt obliged to go in. They're like, everyone was on me the minute I got on there. The person that runs the whole operation was like, "Can I get you a drink? I said, "Oh, sure. I'll just have a vodka cranberry." I sit down. This one boy comes up to me, and sure enough, the man, "Do you want to buy him a drink? Do you want to buy him a drink?" And I was like, I felt obliged to buy this guy a drink. Does he
Wow.
order what I order and get a well drink? No, he got like some whiskey top shelf drink that was way more
Of
expensive
course
than
you did.
mine. I wasn't even into this guy. Another guy sidles up to me, and he's playing with my nipple, which felt good, by the way, but still not into him. And then I thought, what is going on? I don't know, Jeremy, do you think that strip clubs still have their place, or are we moving on from that
I mean,
time
I've
frame?
always loved them, but I haven't been to like a really good one in a long time, and I really
Yeah.
miss like Go-Go Boys at No Parking back in the
Oh,
day. That
yes.
was like
So
my
good.
favorite dancer spot. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like now that we have so much to look at online, and then also when you go out, I don't know if it's like the right mindset to be at a strip bar anymore. But I do like, uh, for reference, I do like Twist, where you can like travel
Miami
in that type
twist.
of room and then go somewhere else, all
Good.
within the same establishment.
Yeah.
So that part's fun for there specifically, like the fact that they have so many different vibes in one spot, but I definitely don't miss like being swarmed by 20 dancers like you said. Remember that one we used to go to in the East Village that like could get annoying when you like can't hang with your friends or drink because the dancers are like trying to get you behind the curtain?
Nowhere bar.
Yes, nowhere bar.
And you bring up some really great points
And
that
half of them
now,
are bored and straight and like not
Yeah,
yes,
interested in
that's not
like
fun.
doing anything more than just rubbing on you, which they could have done in front of the curtain,
Yeah.
but they just wanted your money for the one song. I don't know.
the board, you said so many things that even I didn't think of, but the bored and straight ones that are just there hanging out. Obviously, when it's too slow, you just feel this, they're all on top of you, and you're half the time
Mhm.
not into 90% of the ones that are falling all over you. It becomes sort of this cash machine moment where you just feel like how much, they're really like aggressive at times.
Yeah.
You brought up another great point, though. As much as I'm not always in favor of Miami, I love Twist, the bar club, whatever you call it. And I love what you said because yes, if you want to go into the hip hop room upstairs, you can go to that. They have house music in another room. They've got the Latin music going in another room. And then if you want to do that strip bar club moment and you can have a little lap dance, you can do that and get your taste of it and then move on. I think more
Yeah.
bars and clubs, particularly like in Puerto Vallarta, should kind of do this immersion of a area for that so that you can.
Mhm.
I think it would be a lot more busy because when you want that moment, it reminds me of Europe where you go to many a Europe bar, particularly in Berlin, and you'll go in, it's a regular bar, and when you want to, you can go into the back room, and then there might
Mm.
be, like say in Paris at Le Depot, there is dancing, so you could have bar moment with your friends, you could get your dance groove on, and then you can also hook up and then repeat, rinse and repeat, and do it all over again. And I think that's what, good point, because I think we need to move into that where we can, if you're going to do it, don't just make it a one all strip club, make it a little bit of everything if you
Yeah.
can. And that's going to make it more interesting. And people, you're probably going to get a lot of people that wouldn't just go to the strip club paying for a lap dance here and there. And from a business model, I think it could be a win-win for everybody. Well, Cody, what are your thoughts
Definitely.
on this?
Oh, I totally agree with everything you guys have just said. Although, just talking about it, I am nostalgic for the time when I could go to the strip bar and tip the dancer and rub on various parts and possibly take him home and all those
Mhm.
times that I did all of that fun stuff. So, and I've done that in Puerto Vallarta. So I understand what you're saying. It makes me a little bit sad that Swinging Richards is going to be closing its doors because I have visited there before and it was a lot of fun when I went.
I hear you. Yeah, I think, yeah, I've had those moments too. I just think post pan or not, well, we're still in the pandemic, but post
Yeah.
lockdown, how about that? Let's go with that. That I do think people are just maybe in a different place, and who knows though, we'll see. Because they
And
keep
the
opening
rise of
up every time I
OnlyFans
go to,
too.
yeah, so we'll see. Ho, 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 fellas. Naughty or nice, 'tis the season to perform. Fellows, this is your host, Steve V of TAGSPodcast, and prior to being introduced to Manscaped, I can tell you that it was always a race last minute to get a disposable blade where I always nicked my underarms, my crotch, the most important part, and even my ass area. Well, when Manscaped came around, all of that went out the door, mainly because of two products they carry. I'm talking about the Lawnmower Body Trimmer 4.0 and the Weed Whacker for my nose. Have you ever been sitting across from somebody and you just wanted to tell them, pull that nose hair out? Well, with both of these products, they keep me in track, ready to go at all times. They're one of those things that you can do as you get in the shower, before you go out. When you get out, put the weed whacker up to your nose and just trim away. They've got so many other products, but they will make a great Christmas present to your boo or whomever is on your Christmas list this season. I guarantee it, because Manscaped's best-selling product is the Performance Package 4.0, which is at the top of every man's wish list this year. What will you find in their lawnmower body trimmer? Well, it's the best trimmer on the market for your balls, butt, and body, and the Weed Whacker, which I talked about, ear and nose hair trimmer. Let's not forget their famous liquid formulations, the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner, to maximize your ball hygiene routine. Get the Performance Package now to receive their 2 free gifts. I'm talking about the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag, which I was darting around carrying with me all in Puerto Vallarta. I love it. Now, these are the picks for Manscaped Surefire Win Stocking Stuffers. Number 1, the Manscaped 2-in-1 Shampoo Plus Conditioner, which was just launched, killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Number 2, the Manscaped Cologne Infused Body Wash. Number 3, Shears 2.0 Luxury 4-Piece Nail Kit. Number 4, Crop Mops, ball wipes for the stanky balls. And coming in at number 5, Manscaped Signature Cologne. These formulations are all vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, and paraben-free, so you know their products are legit. Make sure you hurry to their site to ensure these wild gifts show up before the holiday season. And while you're at it, get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com using our code TAGS, TAGS. Whether this is for your partner, dad, brother, friend, get them something that they will actually use, and it's almost sure to get a laugh. Again, get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code TAGS, TAGS. Be the ballsiest gift giver this year with Manscaped. All right. Well, I did reference this earlier in the show that we were going to be talking about. You said versatility, Kodi, but there's a brand new article that I'm going to post this one on TAGSPodcast because it really got my interest. It's called Total Tops and Bottoms Share Why They Refuse to Be VERS. And very lengthy article, but when it comes to positional preferences, versatility, they write, is largely regarded as the most progressive option for queer men. Sticking to binary of top and bottom can limit what one does in the bedroom, and queer folks should feel empowered to fuck whoever and however they want. So in theory, they write, this thinking tracks, but it doesn't always hold up in practice. So they did a study, and after speaking with many gay, bi, and queer men who identify as total tops or ones that identified as total bottoms, they learned a number of legitimate reasons, and one of them may be having no interest in switching positions. So, for example, they talked to Anthony, who's 35, gay, and he's a coming out coach. He identifies as total top. He has only bottomed once in his life. And although it wasn't bad, he has, quote, no interest in being versatile. I'm strictly a top because bottoming is painful, easy as that. Anthony also says bottoming, in his mind, is tied to submission for him, a common association among queer men rooted in toxic masculinity. And in fact, one study has found tops are most likely to manifest higher levels of internalized homophobia and more likely to reject a gay self-identity. You know, they go on, there's another Dr. Trevor Hart that they talk to. Research does show that he says that tops are more likely to identify as traditionally masculine or dominant. So topping may be a part of that masculine or dominant identity. And just on that point, it's interesting because I'm thinking of the guy that I dated here, that I talked a lot about in San Francisco, that I knew him in the 90s. Those you guys remember. And then we reconnected a few years ago, and the sex was still as amazing, if not 2.0 sex, because we had went even deeper with things like fisting, and it was hot. But I remember he said he was a definitely dominant top, and I was here for it as a primarily a bottom here. But one of the things that he would say is he would refer to certain gays in the gym as, oh, those fags and this kind of thing, even though he's a
Oh
gay
my
man.
goodness.
I know he was kind of that masculine kind of thing that they're referencing here, that Dr. Trevor Hart is talking about, that
Mm-hmm.
research shows that tops are more likely to identify as traditionally masculine or dominant. So the article goes on a little bit more, but I just kind of want to stop here. What are your thoughts, Kodi, when you hear this, as people are more identifying as just total tops or total bottoms?
Well, as a partially feminine top myself, or a blouse, as I've been called before, I think
Mhm.
that is I think that people, first and foremost, it takes uh to be a good top. I feel like you have to have bottomed at least one time to know what bottoms have to go through, because it's not easy to bottom. And I think that a lot of tops just don't want to bottom because it's hard. Basically, it's more difficult. And I think that, like you said, it's rooted in a lot of toxic masculinity, and anybody who is has those issues needs to do some self-reflection on why they only want to top only, and really just look into that and maybe explore more of their feminine side.
Yeah, good points. Jeremy, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that a lot of men really are just more total tops and total bottoms, and that's okay? Or what are your thoughts on this whole conversation?
I think I'm like kind of middle ground. I think it is okay if somebody decides that, but I do also agree with the fact that I think if you've had a bad experience, it sometimes does uh, put a poor taste in someone's mouth, which would make them stick to one rather than the other and
Hmm.
boycott the other. So I do think it really depends on the chemistry between the people. And I think because I've been in situations where I've dated someone, and I think I talked about this before, where they were even just curious about playing back there, and if you turn them off all the way and say like absolutely not, and you state that from the start, it's something that may not work for the relationship down the road, if that's something that they want to get into or just an interest that they have. So I do think that in a relationship it helps to keep an open mind. So I don't think it helps to shut it out for yourself fully, but I still do
Hmm.
think it depends on who you're with and what the chemistry is like, and just trusting your own boundaries of knowing like where you're willing to go and where you're not, but then also trying to keep an open mind and being willing and open to trying new things.
I 100% agree with both of you guys in that I think it's good, like Kodi, you said, to really kind of, if you can, it's your sex life, right? Which is really a big chunk of who we are. And I think it's really good to look at where you're coming from, like why did you get
Hmm.
into a certain position or not? Because we've had sex experts, intimacy life coaches on the show before. One I'm thinking of gave me the advice that, because if the article goes on that many bottoms feel inadequate or don't feel they have the self-confidence to be a good top in the sack, and that can be very weigh on you and create a lot of stress that you may not want to explore. And I remember when I was talking to one of our guests, he suggested find somebody that, you can talk to and say, hey, I want to try this. And I had somebody in mind that lives in my building that I know he would be all about me topping him. But I feel like we're not, we only talk here and there. And I feel like I could say to him, without being in a relationship with him, that, hey, listen, I want to try topping you, but here's where I'm at with it. Would you be
Hmm.
kind of cool and patient with him? Vers He would be totally into that, and it would be less stressful to approach that. On the other hand, I think many of us find that we fall into one category or the other, and you almost find that piece to your puzzle that, like when I found that guy that I've been talking about, he is a perfect top to my bottom, me being a bottom.
Mhm.
And I don't want to mess that up. That's like really a good thing. I enjoy being a bottom. Do I want to call myself
Yeah.
a total bottom? That maybe is where we get into where I get a little bit. I don't know that I want to label myself anything total, because I want the
Me
out
either.
and and I want the idea that I can explore and try another side of
Mhm.
my sexuality. And I think when labeling one way or the other, but I do go back to, I think if you can explore a little bit as to why you like being one position and how that's working for you, then I think you can have a little bit more of a foundation. And if you still find, well, this is what I like, I really only like topping. If it's something else that we've had people write in that bottoming is painful. Well, as Dr. Goldstein, proctologist, who's been on our show several times, has said, bottoming should never be painful. So if it's painful, I would want to look at that and start seeing why it's painful, because it shouldn't be painful. And there's all
Right.
sorts of techniques to get it so it's not. And so kind of look at where you're coming from it, right?
Wait, it
Yeah,
shouldn't
and I
be
think it
painful?
also, I think it
Oh,
also,
sorry.
it should be like the chemistry has to be there, and I feel like I really respect the amount of work that goes into bottoming and cleaning out and being comfortable, and like just the amount of effort that it takes, that you really have to be, I think, into the person for you to want them to top you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cody, were you
Yeah.
going to say something to that?
I so okay. Can we get into this? Is it really not painful for? I mean, it is uncomfortable. At first it hurts like hell, but then you get into a groove and it feels pretty damn good, right? Is that what we
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
And
that's what I mean.
then
I
oh,
mean, I
okay.
think it's supposed to be like a good pain.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just wanted to clarify because no pain at all. I'm like, I got a little scared. I was like, is something wrong with my back there? But but okay. All right. I just want to
No.
normalize
Yeah,
that
right.
experience.
Right. And we've gone into a great deal before on how proper ways somebody should not be ramming it in you, but
Not in the
especially
beginning.
not in the beginning, and especially if you haven't done it in a while, there should always be, levels. But of course, it's a sensation, and I think that it shouldn't. What I was referencing on many tops that say, "Oh, I don't bottom because it just hurts too much." Well, define hurts. Are you talking about? Is it because you haven't done proper, maybe you were lazy and you didn't bother like practicing and relaxing the muscle, and did somebody try
Hmm.
and ram it up there too quickly? There's all
Too quick.
sorts of, yeah, we don't know what when they say it just hurts.
Hmm.
But I would want to know a little bit more. And so, yeah, it's an interesting conversation and an interesting article that goes into more depth too. So with that said, I will post this for you all to read this on TAGSPodcast.com, because I think it's an interesting conversation and will get you thinking. It was a well-written article on New Now Next. Give them a shout out. All right. Well, lastly, there's a Reddit thread that got me wondering, and it's asked the question, have you ever blocked or been blocked after a hookup? So the person writes, I met this hot top guy via Grindr. We shared pics and videos called before eventually meeting. And then eventually he decided to come over, notwithstanding the distance. We had to get an Uber for a 30-minute drive. Okay, detail. So I thought he was really into me. He gets at mine and everything seems fine. He's very hard and everything. So I assume he's like me. By the way, this is written like, he was talking. So I'm
Hmm.
trying to read it like he was talking. I wasn't hard at all
Right.
because I just get nervous in the beginning. I did tell him not to worry and that I did like him a lot. Eventually, I came when he was fucking me and he came too. I was squeaky clean, so no problems at all. I told him to let me know if he's in the area again, and he said sure. And he left, and then bam, blocked straight. What the hell is
Wow.
going on? I've been feeling so incredibly low today because I felt so rejected. I can't decide if it's my appearance that wasn't up to his standards, but we even video called, or he's wondering if the sex was lousy or something else. All I know
Ah.
is I was left feeling so empty and dirty and rejected. Is this something that happens to a lot of guys? I have some thoughts, but Jeremy, what are your thoughts on this? It was just a
So
hookup, right?
I think it definitely happens. I have blocked people before if they've made me feel uncomfortable or I was just not interested after the encounter. But I definitely think that leading someone on and then blocking them after is really just like foolish. And if you're not like, you can't be man enough to just like not exchange numbers or not
Mm.
pretend like you're going to see them again, that's kind of shitty. But I would also say if you are the person that ended up being blocked after leaving, I wouldn't take it too serious and I would not get uh, into your head and down on yourself. I think it wasn't meant to be, and you're going to find someone else and a better hookup with better sex. And I just wouldn't think too deep into it. I think that
Yeah,
that once you get into your head about maybe it's you and maybe it's how you performed
it's a
and you were
rabbit hole.
squeaky clean and it's like there's
Yeah.
nothing else that you can do. You know what I mean?
Your last points I so agree with. It's where I'm coming from in that it's just sex. And as much as you can have great sex with somebody, I certainly had a potpourri of a couple experiences just recently in Puerto Vallarta, one of which I talked about that now we're chit chatting, right? And it was sort of a one night thing. Another
Right.
one that I met that lived in Mexico, we exchanged WhatsApp afterwards, and he was all about my hands, by the way, like beautiful, like thought my hands were so sexy, and I was all about,
Nice.
yeah, I know, I'm like, okay, and but I messaged him. We did a little messaging the next day, and then it just stopped. And you don't know when you hook up with somebody, as great as the sex is, which was also reciprocal too. And again, he was complimenting me on a part of my body, that what their life is like outside of
Yep.
that experience. And you
Exactly.
don't know that maybe they're going home to a boyfriend. Or I had another guy that I met in New York recently that he was all over me in like sauce on ribs, Cody. And
Yes. Let's make that a
yes,
thing. I would
like
love that.
sauce on ribs. But he did give me an inclination as I was walking out with him that I have a boyfriend, and then he opened up his private Instagram for me where we DM'd each other well into the night, into the next morning. And then when the next day came about, I went to go, check it out again, right? A little more sober, and he had
Hmm.
made it private again. So,
Oh,
but he did tell me that there was a boyfriend, and I'm sure you know what I'm saying? So I guess what I'm saying
yeah.
is you can't confuse a long-winded way of saying you can't confuse a hot sex moment, night, whatever it is, with you don't know enough about them and you can't take it too personally. Cody, what are your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts?
100% agree. I think that it's so easy to fall into that trap of making it about yourself and getting down on yourself. But like you just said, you don't know what that other person's life experience is at that moment. They could be going through something in their life to where they don't have the emotional capacity to be in that type of contact or relationship with you. And just having that sexual encounter made all the difference, or you never know. I like to put a positive, I think the way to get out of the rabbit hole is to try and put a positive spin on the encounter.
Yeah, and I feel for the Reddit writer too, because you can often have great hookups and they can even spend the night, and you think, wow, I've romanticized those times before with
Oh my God, me
hookups,
too.
and
I've been
thinking,
married so many times.
yeah,
Hooking up with
and
guys.
sometimes I've made a plan to get together with somebody and then it doesn't work out. And then there was one more quick story. There was a guy that I met in New York that we had a great fun hookup, met at the bars. he stayed the night. He left in the morning, but there was enough there. We talked about enough stuff. I knew what he did. I liked what he did for work. It was interesting that we made a plan to kind of get together again. We made a plan for, like, say, a Friday when he got off of work, and it didn't ultimately work out. But he messaged me in advance and said, can we postpone to Sunday? And then Sunday rolled around, and then neither one of us really jumped. Like, we both dropped the ball. Cut to Puerto Vallarta, where he came up to me randomly in Puerto Vallarta, and he's like, Steve, and I was like, hi, who are you? But then I was like, oh, right, yes, hi, I remember. I mean, totally out of left field, right? And again, we never went on that date, so it wasn't like we hung out in Puerto Vallarta and had like twice, and I got to know him better, and now I think we will hang out again. So, you know, life happens, and I think you can't, if you are looking for that, you can't put too much of your romantic feelings in a hookup, whether it's on Grindr or somebody you met out at the club. It may work out, and that's great, but you also have to take it with a grain of salt. If you are looking for that dating moment, then I think you should put yourself on the dating apps and reformat and think of dating separately from your hookups. You might still have a fun time, but but at least you're in the right field of dating. And I don't know. That's my thoughts on that. Yeah.
And just to kind of normalize it all again, it happens to everybody. It's happened to me. I feel like I've been blocked during the hookup. It's been like, no, this isn't for me. You gotta go. So yeah,
it happens.
But I would just think of it as their loss and not yours.
Thank you, boo. Oh wait, were you speaking to me specifically?
Yeah, you and in general, just to our listener.
Oh, thank you, darling. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, oh my gosh, so much fun as always for getting into it, as you guys do so well. You can always follow my co-host, follow Jeremy on Instagram at @JRossLopez, and follow Kodi. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching on Instagram, or his personal account, Mr. Maurice. Guys, thank you so much, and happy holiday seasons. Yeah.
Happy holidays.
Yeah. Kodi and I will be back this Wednesday for Tags Live. We're back in business. Join us 9 p.m. Eastern time on the Get Vocal platform, and all information is on TAGSPodcast.com. Thank you so much, guys. So much fun.
Thank you, Steve. So much fun.
And in the meantime, continue having hot, gay sex. Yes, perfect.
What can you do if you wake up rested? Improve your overall health and performance with deep, restful sleep and app-controlled cooling technology by Chili Sleep. Enjoy uninterrupted and high-quality deep sleep that caters to your body's natural rest pattern. Chili Sleep helps you rest soundly beside your partner with temperature settings adjusted specifically for your side of the bed. Visit chilisleep.com/try. That's CHILISLEEP.com/TRY.
Lacuna Health is a call center that goes beyond answering calls. Our highly trained staff handles the clinical needs of patients and extends the care of your practice 24/7. Our experienced RNs offer HIPAA-compliant nurse triage that helps to reduce unnecessary emergency room visits and monitor patient health using your standards and protocols. We answer calls within 30 seconds, and patients have nursing care within 30 minutes. Click Contact Us at lacunahealth.com to see how we can help.